All right, folks, buckle up because we're diving into the biggest story in the NFL right now, and it's not about some overhyped first rounder or a 100 million contract. This is about Shedeur Sanders, a fifth-round rookie who's not just stepping onto the field. He's flipping the entire script on what it means to be a pro athlete in 2025. I'm talking about a guy who's not only slinging passes but building an empire, and the league's old guard is shaking in their boots. If you're a football fan, you need to hear this, so smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and let's get into it. When Shedeur Sanders walked into the Cleveland Browns locker room, he didn't just show up as another rookie QB trying to make the cut. Nah, this guy rolled in like the main event at a Vegas fight night. We're not talking about just another quarterback. He's the headliner, the guy stealing the spotlight on national TV every week. And let's be real, the heat he's taken from the media. Totally unfair. The dude's been under a microscope since day one, and it's not because of his arm, it's because he's changing the game in ways the NFL never saw coming. What Shedeur pulled off might just go down as one of the boldest moves in modern football history. As a fifth-round pick, 124th overall, mind you, he didn't just sign a contract, he dropped a bomb on the league's tired old playbook. We're talking about a concept called prime equity, and it's got GMs and front offices across the NFL sweating bullets. This ain't just a shake-up, folks. It's a full-on revolution, and it's happening right under our noses in Cleveland. On paper, Shedeur's deal looks like your standard rookie contract, 4 years of $4.6 million. Nothing crazy, right? Wrong. Behind closed doors, this kid was playing chess while everyone else was stuck on checkers. The Browns didn't just sign a quarterback, they signed a movement. Shedeur's contract is less about the base salary and more about scale. He's not here to cash a paycheck, he's here to build a legacy. Here's the juicy part, straight from some insider leaks. There's a clause in his deal, Clause 8.1, labeled prime equity incentives and media rights, that's got the league buzzing. If Shedeur's content, think YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, you name it, racks up 10 million views across platforms in a single season, he pockets a cool 2 million bonus. And get this, he keeps 100% ownership of all his digital content, behind-the-scenes vlogs, documentaries, live streams, the works. The NFL, they don't get a dime. Oh, and there's more. He's also got a 20% revenue share on any Browns merch tied to his name or likeness. But the real kicker, a co-investment equity clause that gives him the right to invest in future Browns media ventures. Let that sink in. This isn't a rookie deal. It's a Silicon Valley startup pitch and shoulder pads. So, what the heck is prime equity? It's not just about throwing touchdowns or racking up yards. It's about influence, your platform, your reach, your brand, your story. Shedeur's not just an athlete, he's a walking media empire. Back in college, he was already pulling in 7 figures a year through NIL deals, merch, and media gigs. Some estimates peg him at over $2,000 million annually. And now, he's bringing that same hustle to the NFL, but bigger. He's not begging for a roster spot, he's commanding attention and cashing in on every ounce of his momentum. This prime equity thing is a straight-up power move. It's about recognizing that a player's value isn't just in their stats, it's in their ability to move the needle culturally, digitally, and financially. Shedeur's got blogs, Twitch streams, Instagram lives, branded apparel, and partnerships that make most first-rounders look like they're still stuck in the dial-up era. While other rookies were sweating their 40-yard dash times, Shedeur was monetizing his entire existence. And that's why his contract isn't about a paycheck, it's about building something massive. Let's zoom out for a second. The Browns didn't just draft a quarterback, they brought in a brand with legs. Shedeur's not just competing with the starting defense in practice, he's rewriting how the game values its players. The NFL tried to put him in his place, tried to show him and his dad, the legendary Deion Sanders, who's boss. But Shedeur, he's not here for lessons, he's here to school the league. The Browns front office is playing the long game. While the talking heads on ESPN and Fox Sports were drooling over first-round picks and their bloated contracts, something seismic was brewing in Cleveland. Shedeur's deal is exposing how outdated the NFL's valuation system is. For decades, it's been all about yards, touchdowns, and Pro Bowl nods, but that's old news. Today's players are walking brands, complete with follower counts, engagement metrics, and digital ecosystems. Shedeur's YouTube channel is like a Hollywood production. His Instagram lives pull crowds bigger than some rock concerts. His Twitch streams, they're practically night commercials. This kid's not just in the NFL, he's redefining it. Here's where it gets wild. Shedeur Sanders doesn't need the NFL to make bank. If anything, the NFL needs him. He's barely taken a snap, but he's already got the audience, the endorsements, and the cultural clout. Brands aren't chasing teams anymore. They're chasing players like Shedeur. When he posts, millions watch, millions engage. That kind of pull used to belong to the league's marketing machine, but not anymore. Shedeur's bypassing the middleman, going straight to the fans with one live stream, one vlog, one behind-the-scenes drop. And when he does, he owns the conversation. This is a nightmare for NFL execs. For the first time in forever, the power's shifting to the players. Shedeur's not an outlier either. There's a whole wave of college stars who've been cashing in on NIL deals, and they're not about to give up their worth just because they've gone pro. If they start demanding their college valuation as the baseline for NFL contracts, the league's rigid pay structure could crumble. And that's exactly what Shedeur is banking on. Now, let's talk about the Browns' quarterback room, because it's a mess, and I mean that in the best way possible. In the last 2 seasons, Cleveland cycled through 9 starting QBs. 9, 4 last year, 5 the year before. That's not depth, that's a crisis. So when folks ask, is Shedeur going to play? The real question is, how soon? Because history says someone's going down. That depth chart is a revolving door, and when it swings open, who do you trust? A 40-year-old vet like Joe Flacco, who was a hero in 2023 but let's be honest, is on borrowed time. Or Kenny Pickett, a 1-year rental who's not exactly screaming franchise cornerstone. These guys are placeholders, and everybody knows it. Shedeur, on the other hand, is a 4-year investment with upside bursting at the seams. The Browns front office is playing chess, not checkers. They've got 4 QBs on the roster for a combined $7.5 million against the cap. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson's deal is weighing them down with a $36 million hit. That's not just smart roster building, it's elite-level strategy. Shedeur and Deion Gabriel, another rookie, are the future. They're not camp bodies, they're foundational pieces. Don't take my word for it. Listen to the insiders. Former NFL receiver T.J. Hushmanzada dropped some serious intel about what's being said behind closed doors. It's not hype, it's real. Yahoo Sports reported that Joe Flacco got visibly tense when asked about mentoring Shedeur. That's not a vet taking a kid under his wing. That's a pro who knows there's a threat breathing down his neck. Respect, awareness, power. And then there's Browns GM Andrew Berry. When asked if Shedeur and Deion Gabriel would make the 53-man roster, he didn't hedge. He didn't say, let's see how camp goes. He flat out said they're making the team, period. That's a game changer, folks. Most people still look at the QB room through an old-school lens. Flacco at the top, then Pickett, then Gabriel, then Shedeur as the developmental project. Wrong, that's 2002 thinking. The Browns are playing a different game now. Let's address the elephant in the room. Yeah, Shedeur got pulled over twice in 1 week, once for going over 100 MEF. The headline screamed who mature and reckless, but let's pump the brakes. Browns insider Tony Grossi set the record straight. Shedeur doesn't have a history of off-field trouble. No locker room drama, no college controversies. He made a dumb choice, sure, but he's not being protected because of his last name. He's being protected because of his potential. The Browns see something special, and they're willing to invest patience. Something fifth-rounders rarely get. Insiders in the locker room are buzzing, and it's not just about his arm. They're talking about his football IQ, his ability to dissect playbooks, his mental toughness. This is a guy who took on a total rebuild at Colorado and carried himself like a franchise QB. That poise doesn't vanish in the pros. It translates. Here's the big question: if the Browns are still thinking about drafting a QB in the first round next year, does that mean they don't believe in Shedeur or Gabriel? Maybe. Or maybe it's a sign of confidence. Look at teams like the 49ers or Eagles. They stack QB talent because it's the most important position in sports. Shedeur's locked in for 4 years. They've got time to let him grow, to let him learn, to let him become the guy. And when the inevitable injury hits Dawes, because in Cleveland it will, the question won't be, will Shedeur get a shot? It'll be, is the NFL ready for him when he does? The Browns are finally doing something they've rarely done, playing the long game. Every time they've tried to fast-track a QB, Johnny Manziel, Deshaun Kaiser, Brandon Weeden, it's blown up in their face. But this time feels different. They're not throwing Shedeur to the wolves. They're giving him room to breathe, to learn, to evolve. And when he's ready, he won't just be good. He'll be great. Let's circle back to prime equity, because this is where Shedeur's rewriting the NFL's future. His Twitch streams aren't just hobbies, they're brand campaigns. His Instagram lives have more reach than some local TV stations. His YouTube channel, it's like a Netflix series. These aren't side gigs, they're scalable, monetizable assets that don't depend on how many touchdowns he throws. And the NFL's freaking out, because what happens when other players start demanding this model? Franchises might have to rethink everything, not just as football teams, but as content powerhouses. GMs will need brand strategists. Scouts will be studying algorithms, not just game tape. The league won't just be competing with college football or the NBA. It'll be fighting for relevance against YouTube, Twitch, and Netflix. Shedeur doesn't need the NFL for exposure. He brings it with him. The Browns didn't draft a quarterback. They signed a cultural icon, a marketing juggernaut, a media conglomerate in cleats. Every post, every video, every quote drives global engagement to the team. That's not just valuable, it's irreplaceable. And let's not forget Coach Prime Deion Sanders, who laid down the blueprint. When he said, "We don't sign contracts, we build legacies." He wasn't just talking the talk. He was handing Shedeur a playbook for domination. This isn't about Boulder anymore. It's about ownership. Shedeur's not here to run plays. He's here to own his name, control his image, and build a digital empire. He didn't ask for permission. He just did it. So here's how I see it playing out. Joe Flacco starts the season, maybe wins a few games, but Father Time's undefeated, and eventually he'll take a hit or slow down. Enter Kenny Pickett, solid but unspectacular. A bridge, not a destination. Meanwhile, Shedeur's soaking up knowledge, mastering the playbook and waiting for his moment. When it comes, he won't just be ready. He'll be a force. The Browns are building a true QB pipeline, with Shedeur and Deion Gabriel at the core. They're not rushing it, they're building it. And according to reports from Sports Illustrated, Shedeur's already showing signs of being Cleveland's QB1 of the future, maybe as early as 2025. Coaches, analysts, and insiders are seeing it: the arm talent, the huddle command, the poise under pressure. This kid's the real deal. This isn't just a feel-good rookie story. It's a cultural reset. Shedeur Sanders is forcing the NFL to rethink everything: how they value players, how they structure contracts, how they compete in a digital world. The old guard's scrambling because the Nell generation is watching. If they follow Shedeur's lead, the league's rigid system could unravel. And that's the point. He's not here to play by the rules. He's here to rewrite them. So, what do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders the future of the NFL, or is this all just hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping the game. This is about more than football, it's about a revolution. And Shedeur Sanders is leading the charge. Let's go!